Namaste everyone, and welcome to Namaste Neighbor. I am Acharya Ganesh, and in today's video I would like to show you a very easy and simple way of setting your altar for whatever puja function that you may have, whether it takes place at a temple or it takes place in your home, which is very common. And this video hopefully will help you in that process, or when you make that decision, to help that process much easier. Setting the altar or preparing for a puja tends to be a very overwhelming task for many people. One, because they don't know what to do, and two, it seems like many things that have to be done, when in reality, it's not a very hard process. And so hopefully this video will simplify things in a step-by-step manner to show you not only how easy it can be, but that you can do it with no problem. And so the first thing that we want to do is understand what is a Bedi. A Bedi is simply the platform in which the puja will be done, the offerings that will be made. And so there are many types of Vedis. They come in all shapes, sizes, designs, but most common and most functionable are ones that are square shape or rectangular shape. This particular one is a rectangle, and it is about 4 feet long and a little less than 2 feet wide. Other Vedis that you may see are perfect square boxes made with a 2x4, if you can picture that width, and packed with dirt as the layer in which you would perform the function. And so those are usually 2 feet by 2 feet. You can go a little bit larger if you'd like, or a little bit smaller, depending on what the function is or what the puja you are doing. The average size, though, for those particular Vedis, again, are 2 feet by 2 feet, and that's usually a very good size for most pujas. This platform, this rectangular platform, this particular Vedi, I've chosen to use because this will show you the functionality in most worships that are done with this particular design. However, again, this is not the only one that can be used or only method. Now, setting the altar there are many ways, many varieties to do it. However, the way I'm going to show you will serve as, number one, ready to use. The way I show you to set it up, it's ready to go, the function is ready to start. But we must understand that every priest, every family member or families may have a slightly different way in setup. However, the overwhelming comes from the difference between the logistics and the what is necessary and what I would call more accessory and decoration, elaboration. And so my goal in this video is to show you the necessary setup, what has to be there. And once it's set up that way, any priest would be happy to walk in and see that, and if they have to make minor adjustments, they would have no problem in making those minor adjustments to suit in the way they perform the function. So what I'm going to show you now is the first step is to secure a platform, the Bedi. Now, I like to line my Bedi with foil. Now, as the camera is here, this is why people get overwhelmed. They see all of these things and they have no clue what to do with it. And so I'm going to show you, hopefully through this video, the step-by-step method or easy way to put all of this together so you're able to have a successful puja, successful religious function. And so I like to line the Vedi with foil when they're flat. And as I mentioned to you, other Vedis, they are deep, and so you can pack them with dirt, and there are many ways to design the Bedi. So I'm going to go ahead and line the Bedi with foil. And you would want to make sure that the foil is long enough to get to the end. I was a little short there, but that's okay. And I'll just rip a little piece for the side right there. So it is consistent, okay? And so Bedi Pat is, again, it's a very detailed part of puja. However, for 99% of people, that is not a necessity. And so, especially in what they normally do. So this part of what I'm showing you is going to be very much acceptable for most of your religious functions. Now, the second part to this is where you want to make sure the direction of your Bedi is proper. Mine is already set. So you want to make sure that your Bedi is in a position where it leaves room around, where your priest has a place to sit, and where the person who is performing the function or making the offerings have a place to sit. So the rule for this is the person who is performing the function must face in the eastern direction. So this is east. The priest sits facing in the northern direction. So as you can see, the width of the Bedi, the width of the platform is I'm facing the width of the platform. And on this end, if there's two priests, the second priest would sit on this end, or an assistant would sit on this end to help to man this side of the altar. So now is making the design on the Bedi. Now that the Bedi is covered, we would use, this is just regular flour, cooking flour. And so in puja, you want to make sure that this is new. This is something that is not used, or flour that has not been used for cooking. And very simple design on your altar. Just kind of line the altar with the flour, making a border. Okay. And then you want to connect your angled corners. You can see. And down the middle. You're kind of making an asterisk in the middle of the border here, of the Bedi or the altar. Okay. And then if you're able to, you make the symbol of the symbol Om in the center. So you would go ahead and make the Om symbol in the center. So this is the most basic form of setup here of your Bedi, the first step in getting the platform ready. This can be a very elaborate piece. There are very beautiful designs that can be done, many colors that can be used, but again, if someone is just starting off and they're not familiar with doing their puja, or they just didn't have the proper amount of time to do that, this is perfectly acceptable. Now, the next step in preparing the altar is placing the various items. So what are the items that you need next? So we're done with the flower. So the next item you want to place is what we call the kalash. The kalash is a very important part of the Vedi, part of the puja, and this is where you need to understand or know the vessels that are being used. And so in the puja, again, this is set up for your basic function. Depending on how elaborate or how many pujas you are doing will determine on how many vessels and things you would need. But this is the minimum, at least the minimum of what you would need, and then you can consult with your priest for any additional information or if there's anything else that you may need for your particular individual functions. So you would need at least 3 to 4 what we call lotas. Lotas are these brass shaped vessels. They're usually round in the middle, and they come in various shapes, sizes. And so one of them is going to be what we call the kalash. The kalash is going to go in the center or toward the center of your Vedi. And so we put water in 3 of these lotas, as you can see I'm doing here. And again, they come in various shapes and sizes. So if you don't have any, if you're thinking to buy at the store, you will see various kinds in which you can pick from. And so the kalash, as I was mentioning, this larger lota will go somewhere in the center here. I usually like to put it not directly in the center, slightly off to the side and towards the back, but still in the middle region. And the reason I like to do that is because depending on your function, it helps to create room for what you are doing. So here's a little tip. You want your Bedi, you want your altar to be functionable. A lot of times people will have their platforms and they will have very small, where nothing really can be done in terms of offering. It becomes very congested. There's no room to do anything. Or their murtis, the images that we use of God, are way too big. It's not proportionate to the platform. Or they're very, very, very tiny and very hard to make offerings. So you want to keep these things in mind. The size of your Bedi compared to your murtis, which are the images of God that we use, and also the amount of what you're doing. And so that all of those types of questions, your priest can definitely answer those logistical questions. So back to the lotus, you have this one in the center here, and that one will carry the coconut and puja leaves and items here, in this case the mango leaves. So for the kalash, we like to pick it in a bunch and go ahead and snap off a few of the leaves until you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves in the bunch. You place that into the lota and you place the coconut on top. So there you go. Now there are other types of leaves that can go in here. However, in this part of the world, the mango leaf is the one that is most common, and it's very hard to get the other types of leaves. So we use the mango leaves mostly. And so here we have the lota of water, the mango leaves, and the coconut. That will be the starting point for the kalash. The priest will do the necessary ritual to what we call establish it. So that's in the center. Your other lotas, one will go on the side of the priest. So this is the priest side. And one will go on the other side directly across for the other priest if there is one or assistant, but one is needed here regardless for the functions that are happening on this side. Okay? Now, what we'll do is place our murtis. Okay? So our murtis are images of God. I don't say statue because statue or idol is really does not do justice to the term murti. So murti are the images of God, and so I have chosen a few deities that are very commonly worshipped in pretty much every function. And so first being Lord Ganesh and Gaudi Mata. And so usually they're worshipped together. It's called Ganesha Ambika Puja or Gaudi Ganesh Puja. It has many names, but the point is that Lord Ganesh is being worshipped alongside Gaudi. And so, as you can see, these murtis are not humongous, they're not big. They can be slightly bigger if you like, but not too much bigger, or else again, you're taking away the purpose of your Bedi, which is to perform the worship and have the room to place the offerings. And so, Ganesh and Gaudi, there are two areas in which you can place them. One, you can place them in the front of the kalash, like this. And notice the side Lord Ganesh is on compared to the side Gaudi is on. Right? They're son and mother. Right? If it was husband and wife, then we would put them the other way. Or they can go towards the right side of the altar, such as this. For our purposes today, for this video, I'm going to put them in the center of the altar. And if I were doing your puja, this is where I would prefer them anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put them there. If you would like to save a step or to also help to save a little bit of time, you can put a leaf underneath the murtis, and this would be one of the steps the priest would do. Some priests would rather do it themselves. It really doesn't matter, but you can also put the leaf there. The other murtis that we have Lakshmi Narayan. So this is Mother Lakshmi, and this is Lord Vishnu. And as you can see, these are husband and wife. And so Lakshmi is on the left, Vishnu is on the right. And again, I'm going to take a leaf and I'm going to place both of them on this leaf. Okay? And as you can see, we have ample room to make offerings, to put offerings. And the other common pujas that are done, or at least acknowledged in many of the functions, are Lord Shiva and Hanuman. And so usually we have them on this side of the altar. So Lord Shiva, move up slightly, and Hanuman back slightly. You can have it like that, or if you prefer, you can put the Shiva a little bit closer this way and the Hanuman on the end, like this. And again, we have ample room to make the offerings. Okay? So, as you can see, the leaves that we're using in the puja right now are the mango leaves for part of the setup. Here are some of the other leaves that you may find common. Now, in the tray, this is just a sample set. This is not the amount that you would need. You would need a little bit more than this. So we have the mango leaves, which you saw. We have neem leaves, which if you can get them, that would be great. They're from the margosa tree or the neem plant. We have the bay leaves, which are special to Lord Shiva, right? This is from the wood apple tree or the bay leaf tree. So as you can see, we have the holy basil, or which we call tulsi. So as you can see, the tulsi. And then we have some special grasses here. This is called kush grass, and this is trimmed down a little bit shorter, trimmed down, and the sprangs look like this, a little bit larger here. If you can get this, it's great. If you can't, no worries. This is called durba grass. It's usually in the Bahia type of grass, and as you can see here, the look. This is a very special in puja. If you're able to get, that is excellent. If you're not, no worries. And we also have something called the peepal leaf. It's comes from the peepal tree. If you can get a few of these leaves, that's great. If not, no worries. And there are some flowers. Another type of leaf that is very common in puja is what we call the pan leaves. This is how they look. And these along with the mango leaves are the most commonly used in puja, along with tulsi. So if you're able to get, that is great. Definitely try your best to get the pan leaves and mango leaves and tulsi. If you're unable to, you consult with your priest, and your priest will be able to tell you what is an appropriate substitute to use, or if something is necessary or not. Many people ask, well, how many do you need? A rule of thumb is you need at least 2 to 3 leaves per puja that you are doing, including the preliminary pujas or steps. And so that should help you to gauge how many leaves that you would need. And again, just pointing out the flowers. So these are the leaves in the tray, and as you can see, they're separated. They're not all tossed in. It's easy to maneuver around. That makes the puja flow very nicely as well. Okay. If you have extra mango leaves, you can definitely pick them, and they can be used as spoons for the water. Now, the next part of setting your altar is setting up the hawan side. The hawan side is where the holy fire is going to be lit, and very important offerings are made inside of the fire. So what you would need for that is a hawan kund, which is a vessel in which the fire is lit. And so they come in many sizes. This is a small one. And so as you can see, I already put a wick made with cotton, right? And on top, the oil that is used is actually ghee, right? Ghee meaning clarified butter, and this is 100% ghee, cow ghee, not the vegetable ghee. All right, so this will go at the end of the altar on this side, like so. Now, if you need more room, and you had other pujas that were being done, or you needed more room, there is no problem in getting a platform, like a piece of tile or another piece of wood, and placing it on the ground, and placing your hawan kund on top. That is also acceptable. And as you can see, it gives you a little bit more room to place items or perform your function. for purposes today, I'll go ahead and leave this on the tile so you can see it as part of the setup. So the other parts, other things that you need for the hawan are cotton balls soaked in oil or ghee in order to maintain the fire throughout the ritual, throughout the puja. You will also need a bowl of ghee to make the offerings inside of the holy fire at the appropriate time. You'll need a spoon in order to offer the ghee. And you will need samagri and camphor. Camphor helping to maintain the fire, and the samagri is usually done or used at the end of the ceremony when what we call the hawan is done, or that particular part of the ceremony is done. So these items will go now at the end of the altar by the hawan kund, as these items are for that particular part. So I'm going to place them over here. You have your ghee, spoon, and you have your lota of water, which you can keep on the side. Okay, and your samagri. Okay, so now your hawan area is pretty much set and ready to go. And once you have these items, anything additional or anything that is not necessary will be very easy for your priest to determine and not take any time whatsoever away from starting the ritual. On the priest side, you should have your thali set, and so this will go on this side of the altar now, like this. Some priest will take it and put it on the floor, like this. That's up to the priest, so you don't have to worry about that. The main thing is having your thali ready to go, set. None of these things should be in a package and the priest having to fiddle with packages to start your ceremony. If you go to my video on how to set your puja thali, it will go through step by step on how to do exactly what you see here. Now, this is my personal set that I use regularly. In the video, in my video, you will see a very systematic way in putting all of this together. It's not hard, it's actually very simple. And so, along with that, we have the perfume. Okay, so the last couple things, it's only a few more little things, and you have a fully set altar. You'll need a diya. A diya is a lamp that is lit and used to wave around the murtis as part of a ritual or the function. Now, you need at least one main diya that will be used for what we call the arti. However, you can make extra diyas for your pujas as well. So you can make 3, 4, 5 of these for part of your for your puja. So this we usually place at the end, and that again, that is movable. That can move from end to end. You'll need incense sticks, which we call argabati. We have here, and so again, I'll place these at the end. Close to your diya. And lastly, I saved this for last, but this doesn't mean that you have to wait till the very last. This is called panchamrit. And the panchamrit is a mixture of 5 liquids or 5 nectars that is used in the ritual where we bathe the deities with. The reason I saved it for last is because I want to show you quickly a way that you can make it. There are various ways of making panchamrit. What you will need is a little container. I have a little cup here with a little spoon. Again, you can get this right at the store. However, if you don't have one of these, any cup, clean cup or lota will do, and a spoon that is clean as well. When I say clean, I mean unused. So if you had to choose between a metal spoon that was used and a plastic spoon from the box, go with the plastic spoon if you don't have anything that was unused. So as you can see, I have a little cup here. It has milk inside. The way to make the panchamrit is you add honey. Okay, not too much, just a little bit. Honey, a little bit of sugar, we have a little bit of ghee, which I'll take right from the cap of the bottle. You don't want to put too much, just a little bit. Okay, it's in there. And this last one, some people put yogurt, plain yogurt, which is fine, a little bit, or instead you can put a little bit of water. Now many people ask the question, aren't you supposed to put tulsi inside the panchamrit? The answer is no. Tulsi is not a necessary ingredient in panchamrit. However, it is added to the panchamrit, to this mixture, for various pujas. And so, just so you know, the prayer states what the panchamrit is actually made of. Payo means milk. Payo dadhi. Dadhi is yogurt. Payo dadhi gritam. Gritam means ghee, clarified butter. So payo dadhi gritam chaiva madhu. Madhu is honey. Madhu sharkara. Sharkara is sugar. Sharkara yutam. Panchamritam. These are the 5 ingredients that make up the panchamrit. With the exception of, instead of yogurt, you can use water. And so this now will stay by the priest. I'll just go through quickly what you see here. Okay. And absolutely we need the matches. Okay, that will go in the end. Alrighty, so here's what you're seeing, devotees. You are seeing a fully set up altar, ready for worship and ready to go. So what you see is a puja thali that is completely set up. And again, if you go to my YouTube video on how to set your puja thali, you can do this in no time. You see a complete altar that is ready for worship. And as you can see, very simple setup, very simple items. And this is a great foundation for starting. And I'm sure by seeing this, you can get your own ideas now on where you can enhance and put decorative things, like where can you put extra flowers, where can you put extra designs. Maybe there's a particular plant or another murti that you would like to include. So these are things now that you can very easily see how you can place and how you could add to your puja, to your altar. And so devotees, this is again for your main basic functions. If there's let me come around here. So if there is a special puja that you're doing and something that is requires more elaboration, then definitely you consult with your priest and they can guide you on what the extra items you would need or how to add on to the setup. But however, this is a great foundation that you're looking at, that any priest would be glad to see this, because really they would be ready to start right away once the person who is making offerings is ready. Just one additional thing, just to keep in mind, is definitely have a seat prepared for your priest, a seat prepared for yourself, and definitely a seat prepared on the other side in the event that there is an assistant to help. And you have a fully set altar. Hopefully this video helps you in your preparation. The convenience that you have is you can go forward or backwards as many times as you need to see the setup. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything that may look a little differently from what you may be seen or have seen or used to, definitely talk to your priest and see if that there is something that you're missing, or that is maybe not necessary in this particular setup. However, I keep reiterating that this is a fantastic foundation that would help anybody prepare for most of your functions. And with that, devotees, I'd like to say thank you for watching Namaste Neighbor. Thank you for supporting this particular video. Please share, please subscribe to the channel and share the information. God bless you, and Namaste Neighbor.